Hey guys, welcome back to our makeup segment. We are going to be working on Megan today. She has her everything primed and prepped for her, already ready. We've applied our bronzer. We're going to be working on her eyes. So my name is Sarah and we are with the Style Garage, and what we're going to do today is we're going to show you how to do just a very basic eyeshadow technique, and we're going to add a little flash of color at the end, just for all of you that use a lot of more neutral tones and just want something a little bit more advanced. But don't want anything crazy, don't want to go into a smoky eye, anything like that. So more day wear versus night wear, more, you know, at the job type wear. And then we'll be having advanced segments later so that you can see how to do more smoky eye and cat techniques and stuff like that. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you have the right brushes in hand. Okay, we want to have a load brush. So we have a brush for, these are for our eyes, just for the eyelid, for the eyeshadow. 3 is kind of like my favorite number. I have about 5, but that's if you want to go into more advanced techniques. So we have a load brush here. So this load brush is going to look very stiff. It's going to have more of a flat head to it. And then we're going to have more of like a transfer brush and then a blending brush. And you can see these are both very flexible. One's a little bit smaller than the next. But what we want to make sure we do is when we go from our load to our transfer to our blending, we want to make sure that we're using different brushes for each technique so that we're not taking our load brush and putting a little bit too much on to maybe the top under our brow or something like that. I prefer to start with darker colors first. A lot of people start with lighter and move into darker. Like I said, there's no really wrong way of applying the color. There's really no wrong colors. It's just you have to make sure you're confident with what you're wearing. So today we're going to be working with more of a matte finish on Megan. I want to make sure that we have a matte finish on her eyes because I'm going to pop her lips later. Kind of a rule of thumb with that is you want to make sure that if your eyes are dark, your lips are light. And if your eyes are light, your lips you can really make dark. Also having just a really neutral look between both of them is great too. Speaking of eye color, what colors to use. If you have a cool eye tone, you want to work more with warmer tones. So I'm going to be working with browns, some warmer tones, some more earth shades on Megan. She has like a greenish, bluish eye. It kind of changes colors actually as I'm looking at it. And but you can use cool colors as well. Like I said, you have to be confident with what you're wearing. Not necessarily, you don't want to really dress and then like say, if you're wearing purple, I want to wear purple eyes, you know. That's not really necessarily how it goes anymore. A lot of the fashion out there is just making sure you have a really nice balance between all of your makeup and what your fashion is too and what you're wearing. I'm using my load brush again, so I'm using the brush that has the most load to it. What this does is to make sure that it pushes into you want to push the pigment into the skin. We're not doing any type of brushing here, we're just pushing. Now she is prepped with our canvas, which is our primer for her eyelid. I recommend always using a primer. Your color won't transfer, it's going to stay put to where you need it to stay. So I'm going to be working with half of her eye. Again, we're doing just a very neutral look on her. I'm just pushing that pigment in there. Now some of you that may have creases in your eye, you know, as your eyes mature too, they can get more creases. You can just lift up your brow with your one hand, and then you can apply that way too, and you can load the product in. Don't overload when you have that issue because then you have a lot more that you have to try to blend in. So again, we're going to do the other eye here. I don't ever recommend taking the whole eye and doing one color. You know, if you are in a hurry or you're someone that doesn't wear a lot of color, just keep it simple. You know, load a dark color in and blend with a light and be done with it. And I can show you how that's done. I can just really simplify this look too. And just by where you load the color is where it'll look like just a whole different technique than you just taking a brush and putting it on. Okay, so after we apply the dark, you can see that we have a lot of lines that need to be blended through. If you want to close for me. You can see there's a lot of lines that have to be blended through. A lot of times people that are maybe a little bit inexperienced with putting on makeup, or they don't really understand what eyeshadow can do, when they get to this step, they get really, really scared. And then they just blend it all in, and then they're just going to their look that they've always had. There is ways of blending this in, but if you blend it in too soon, you're not going to be able to get that dark effect, and you're not going to be able to get the technique where it belongs. So we want to make sure that we're starting with stamping this in, and then we're going to go ahead and blend it through, okay? Make it look a lot more natural. So the next brush I'm going to use is I'm going to start to use my smaller one that's a lot, has a little bit more flexibility to it. And I'm just going to take it, just a dry brush, and I'm just going to start to blend these lines a little bit. Now this is my transfer. I'm transferring the color, blending these lines. And I'm just taking the color that I've utilized and I stamped in there, and I'm transferring. Now another really great thing about using a primer for the eyelid is you can see I don't have any little particles down here that have fallen from the dark. And with the stamping technique, you're pushing it into the primer where it's supposed to belong. So a lot of times you'll have all those little dark pieces down there, and then you go to swipe them away, and then we have now where you put your concealer, it's kind of basically ruined because you've already had all those dark pieces. So as you can see, this brush has literally just taken the lines away and blended it in. Now, you could stop there if you wanted to, or you can go ahead and blend in with a little bit of a lighter shade. I want to bring out her brow a little bit, so I'm going to blend just with a tiny bit of a lighter shade. And the lighter shade I'm going to use on her is another warm tone. And it actually has pink hues to it. Another basic shade that everyone likes for blending is the vanillas. These are really, really nice. So now I'm just going to come through here. I'm going to kind of work out her brow. Just blend this all through. Everyone out there that, you don't wear a lot of makeup, or you do wear a lot of makeup, this is not a very, dramatic effect at all. You guys can all do this. Now how you make it more dramatic is just use more dramatic colors. You can still use this technique. You can just have to use more dramatic colors. Okay, so to recap on just her eyeshadow, we did prep her with a canvas base primer. We used more of our loading brush, which is our solid, more sturdy brush, and then we went to our blending brush, which is a little bit smaller, and we just took the clean brush without applying more product to it. We transferred the color where we wanted it, and then we blended it through. I added a little bit more pigment to her top underneath her brow, just to bring out her brow a little bit more, and to kind of blend it through, creating more of a warmer shade. I wanted warmer shades with her cool eye tones. So that's basically her canvas. Now if we wanted to add a little flash of color, which is real fun, we can use, there's cream eyeshadows, we have a 24 karat gold eyeshadow, it's called. It's really, really great. We can also use more of our fun colors, so you can use your purples, you can use your violets, your purples, your greens, your blues, and we can create more of a dramatic effect that way. So the 24 karat gold shadow has a lot of shimmer to it. This is where you want to use more of a crease brush. This is where you want to use more of your angle brush. It's a little stiffer. And you're literally just going to open for me, and you're going to see where your crease line is. Now if you look, her crease line is right there. So when you close, that's where you want to apply the product. And the flash of color is only going to come when she opens and closes her eyes. You don't really want to see it too much when her eyes are open. Otherwise it can become more of a dramatic look. So again, we want to take our angle brush, and we're just going to put it right in the crease of her eye there. Now this is rose gold. Rose gold is really popular right now because she has cool eyes. We want to warm it up for her. We are going to make her lips a little bit more dramatic, so we are going a little lighter with her eyes. Open. Now you can see, you can't see that flash of color until she blinks. Now we can get real dramatic. We can use violets, we can use greens. Like I said, there's a lot of different colors that we can use, but because we're going to be utilizing a lot more of a dramatic effect on her lips, I don't want to get too dramatic with her eye right now. I'm always a big fan of making sure your eyes aren't too pearlized or shimmered, and making sure that you have enough matte color there as well. You know, using a lot of shimmer brings out a lot of creases in your eyes. It's not really good for more mature eyes either. It tends to kind of highlight those areas that need to sometimes be low lighted. Another reason for shimmer is, like I said, just for this flash. It gives just a little bit of shine. So when she's out, even in the sun or anywhere, that's gonna catch that little bit of flash of shine when she's out there. So if you wanna close. So again, just to recap, this is her flash of color right there and right here. Another way you can do flash of color if you want it to be seen on the eye when it's open, if you open for me, is you can just put it on this corner right here. So you can see it where my brush is pointing, her eye is open. Go ahead and close. And where you apply that is just in this corner. So you can put your violets or any type of more dramatic of a look. And then that's just a flash of color there. You only go about halfway into the eye, and you can create that as a flash of color if you want to see that all the time as well. Okay, let's move on to her brow. And then we're going to move on to her eyeliner, and then we're going to finish up with her mascara.